Slavery has been a universal institution for thousands of years, as far back as you can trace human history. And what we are looking at is if slavery is something that happened to one race of people in one country, when in fact the spread of it was around the world. In 1776, which is when Adam Smith published The Wealth of Nations, as well as when the United States got started, he said that Western Europe is the only place in the world where there is no slavery. And even the Western European had a vast number of slaves in the Western Hemisphere. That is what Thomas Sowell said about slavery in an interview. Well, slavery is one of the most controversial topics out there today. Although we all agree it was terrible, we probably never learned enough about it in school. And did you know that even after the formal abolition of slavery, millions of people are still trapped in modern-day slavery? From ancient civilizations to the present day, the disregard for human rights and the plight of slaves continues. Join me as we uncover the untold stories and shocking facts about slavery throughout history and the present. During the era of slavery, some slave owners went to great lengths to control the minds of their slaves. They would educate them and introduce them to Christianity, but there was a catch. The masters couldn't allow the slaves to read the entire Bible, because it contained passages that challenged the very institution of slavery. So, they devised a cunning plan. They created a modified version of the Bible, known as the Slave Bible, where they removed sections that spoke against slavery and kept only those that made it seem normal. By manipulating the scriptures, they aimed to justify their cruel treatment of human beings. The origins of the Slave Bible remain a mystery, with some speculating that it was the work of plantation owners wanting to maintain control, while others suspect the involvement of missionaries seeking to enforce their own beliefs. This fascinating piece of history sheds light on the lengths people went to maintain power and control over others. And so, of course it was a very selective literalism, which we still see in Christianity today at times. So it was a principle of interpretation, which was good, but the principle was distorted in order to support slavery. And those people who are not able to see their own desire for power, their own desire for domination, take these powerful principles and twist them in order to keep that power, and this is what we see in the slaveholders. They could not recognize that their interpretation of scripture was tied to their own wealth, their own prosperity, their own desire to maintain power. They were so blinded by it. Susan Wise Bauer, author of The History of the Ancient World. Moving on. Hailing from Angola, Johnson's life took a dramatic turn as he embarked on a journey shaped by servitude and resilience. Captured and sold by Arab traders, he found himself in the clutches of the Virginia Company as an indentured servant. Arriving in Virginia in 1621, Johnson was once again auctioned off, this time to a white tobacco planter. However, after years of enduring the hardships of servitude, a glimmer of hope emerged. Johnson and his wife Mary completed their indenture and gained their freedom in 1635. They were bestowed a generous plot of farmland as a symbol of their newfound liberty. Not one to rest on his laurels, Johnson seized further opportunities to expand his holdings. In 1651, under the headright system, Johnson acquired an additional 250 acres of land by purchasing the contracts of 5 indentured servants, consisting of 4 white individuals and 1 black. This enterprising move propelled him forward, solidifying his position as a landowner. However, the path to prosperity was not without its tribulations. In a distressing turn of events, Johnson's illiteracy became a weapon against him. A deceitful white neighbor forged a letter forcing Johnson to unknowingly surrender 100 acres of his hard-earned land. The injustice of racism began to take hold during the 1660s, prompting Johnson to make a bold decision. Determined to protect his family's future, Johnson uprooted them and relocated to Somerset County, Maryland. Here, he secured a 300-acre land lease and transformed it into a thriving tobacco farm, demonstrating his resilience and unwavering spirit in the face of adversity. Johnson's story serves as a testament to the strength and perseverance exhibited by individuals who triumphed over the shackles of slavery and prejudice, carving out their own path to success. As we delve into the remarkable story of Johnson's journey from slavery to success, I want to hear your perspective. In the comment section below, how do you think his story resonates with the struggles we face today? Let's engage in a meaningful conversation together. Next, did you know? The Arab slave trade, an integral part of history, traces its roots back to the 7th century and endured in various forms until the 1960s. Islamic Sharia law permitted slavery but prohibited the enslavement of existing Muslims. Consequently, in its early stages, people residing in frontier regions of the Muslim world, Central Asia, and Europe became targets of enslavement. However, as time progressed, non-Muslims, particularly Africans, became the primary victims of this trade. Estimations regarding the extent of African enslavement in the Arab slave trade vary. Olivier Petre-Grenouillot, drawing from the research of Ralph Austin, suggests that approximately 17 million Africans were enslaved through this trade. On the other hand, Ronald Siegel provides a narrower range, estimating the number between 11.5 and 14 million. These figures offer a glimpse into the magnitude of human suffering inflicted during the Arab slave trade. They underscore the complex dynamics and far-reaching consequences of this historical phenomenon, prompting us to reflect on the lasting impact it has had on societies across time. Now, here is the shocking part of slavery that even I didn't believe to be true at first. But before then, it would be a pleasure if you hit that subscribe button if you like the content and to always stay in the know. Surprisingly, when we think of slavery, our minds often go straight to the transatlantic slave trade, where Africans were forcibly transported to the United States across the Atlantic Ocean. However, it's crucial to recognize that transatlantic slavery was just one form among many. Slavery existed in various other parts of the world, and its victims were not limited to a specific race. One lesser-known form of slavery was carried out by the Barbary Corsairs, notorious slave raiders operating under the Ottoman Empire along the coast of present-day North African countries around the year 1600. While many Barbary Corsairs were Muslims, they also included English and Dutch pirates among their ranks. Unlike the transatlantic slave trade, the Barbary Corsairs did not discriminate based on religious affiliation. They targeted anyone in their raids, including fellow Muslims. Men captured during these raids were held as slaves, while women were sold into concubinage. Male children were forcibly converted to Islam and later enlisted in the slave corps of the Ottoman army. Initially, the Barbary Corsairs focused on capturing passengers traveling on ships in the Mediterranean. However, they later expanded their operations to raid coastal villages in England, France, Italy, Ireland, Spain, and Portugal. In a notable incident in 1631, they even managed to seize the entire population of Baltimore, Ireland, enslaving them. The frequency of these raids forced many European coastal townspeople to flee inland in order to escape the pirates. The Barbary slave trade began to decline in the 17th century when European navies started to counter the Barbary pirates in the high seas. By the 19th century, the navies of the United States and Europe were directly confronting the pirates within their own territories. This compelled the pirates to halt the enslavement of European Christians, although they continued their raids on other regions. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey through the untold stories of slavery. It's crucial to shed light on these historical and contemporary issues. Let's continue the conversation in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, experiences, or ideas on how we can combat modern-day slavery and promote equality for all. Remember, change starts with awareness and action. Together, let's create a world where freedom and dignity prevail. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed and inspired. Join us in making a difference.